English 3, I hope if you celebrate Easter, I hope you had a fantastic Easter, or if you don't, I hope you had a wonderful 3-day weekend. So I know it's hard hearing the news that we will no longer be coming to school until August, but I just want to let you know that all of your teachers are 100% here for you. We're all ready to kind of work through this together. So just know that the learning doesn't stop. Your teachers are still going to be there for you to help you out when you need to. So for our division and classification essay, we are working on creating our thesis statement today. And I promise before you start writing, I will look at your thesis, and I also still need to look at those color-coded documents that you guys turned in on Thursday. So I will look at those as well. So for this assignment today, for your thesis, the directions say, fill in the chart below and create a thesis for your essay by completing the 3 steps. Use the example chart and thesis if you get confused. Step 1, create 3 funny or unique names for each of your categories or divisions. Because remember, some people are doing a classification essay, which means you're saying the 3 types of people. Other students are doing a division essay, so saying the 3 parts of a video game. So if it's dividing, that's kind of what that is. If you're doing categories, you're saying different types of people. So step 2, walk through each category and complete the name, define, explain, and illustrate sections. So naming, that's when you're saying, hey, here's why I made that creative name. Defining and explaining, basically you're saying, here's the category division, this is what this type of person does, or this is what this stage of the game is like. And then the illustrate section, you're going to tell stories from either your own life, or if you don't have stories from your own life, you can just say, imagine you are in the baseball field and you see this player out in the outfield and he's sitting there picking grass. So you could kind of give an example even if it hasn't happened to you. And then your third step is to create your thesis. So I do have an example from a student last year. So this student did the 3 different types of siblings. So their creative names were the tattletale, the know-it-all, and the loudmouth. So those are their 3 main. And they explained how they each got their name. So tattletale, ready to tattle on everything in order to suck up to mom and dad. So you have the kind of word tattle in here so you can see why the tattletale comes in. Know-it-all, always knows everything and is always right in their mind. So always knowing everything, you kind of see where the name comes from. Loudmouth, this sibling can be heard from the basement when they are downstairs. They have the loudest voice you have ever heard. So again, you have a loud voice. So you kind of see where the names come from. Then for the defining and explaining part, you are kind of trying to define what this person's like, or you're trying to define what this category is like. So for example, for the tattletale, a sibling who reveals secrets or wrongdoings of other siblings in order to bask in the glory of their parents. Or for the know-it-all, the student said that a sibling who thinks they know everything and are full of a lot of random facts that they tell you all the time. That would be a tattletale. Or a loudmouth definition. This sibling always seems to talk too much and never seems to know when to be quiet. Their booming voice is constantly echoing the house. So notice that it didn't give stories. It just kind of said, this is what this type of sibling is like. Okay, then we have illustrate 2 ideas. So the first one. So for tattletale, they have 2 stories they have in mind. So sliding down the banister of the stairs and having the tattletale tell on me. And the other story from their life was ruining the April Fool's joke with saran wrap on the toilet seat before they even got to trick someone. So those are 2 examples that this writer went through that the tattletale ruined. So I guess before they could even put saran wrap on the toilet, the tattletale told that beforehand, which is pretty cute. Know-it-all. So here are their 2 stories here. The time when the know-it-all told me that my hair was dry and unhealthy because of the split ends and wiry texture. Ooh. And then another time for the know-it-all, the time when my younger sibling decided to tell my boyfriend's mom she was wrong about her reasoning for the seasons. Awkward. People still do this, the awkward turtle. Awkward. That was big when I was in school. Loudmouth. So here are their 2 stories. When they were singing multiplication rock songs for almost an hour at the top of their lungs. And the time when a neighbor asked them a question and the sibling told them the story that was 7 minutes long. It was obvious that the neighbor was not listening. So you don't have to write the full-blown story. You're just kind of doing a real quick sentence description. This part is your evidence. So where we would normally have quotes, that's where the stories come in. And like I said, do not write your whole story in here. I don't want to read your whole story yet. I will love to read it later on, but right now it's like a one sentence little liner. So I kind of get the idea of what you're going to write. All right, then when they have their thesis statement, which should be up here, there we go. So the three main types of siblings that one will encounter in family life are the tattletale, know-it-all, and the loudmouth. While each of these sibling types may be annoying at times, they each bring their own charm and create an enjoyable family dynamic. So notice that the first sentence said, here's the three types, or here's the three divisions, whatever one you're doing. While each of these siblings may be annoying, they each bring their own charm. So that's the part, the so what part, like why it matters. Why is this essay going to change people? So down here, this is the lovely part you're going to complete. So you're going to do your three cute creative names here. You're going to explain why you have those names. You're going to define and explain them. So this type of person is one who, or this part of the baseball game is when. And then illustrate is when you tell stories or have examples. And then you're going to have your thesis down there. And don't forget your so what. Anyways, I look forward to reading these. This essay is usually one of my favorites. So this should hopefully be something kind of fun for you to brainstorm different ideas. I look forward to speaking with you guys soon and reading your work. I hope to talk to you. Bye.